All right, guys. We've been talking about slope. We went from finding slope from 2 points to finding it from an equation and writing equations in slope-intercept form. And now we're going to talk about a different way to write an equation, and it's called point-slope form. And it's really easy, and it's just filling in a form that you're given. All right, let's go over what we know so far. We know about slope-intercept form. We know that that's y equals mx plus b, and we know that m stands for slope and b stands for the y-intercept. You also know the 4 types of slope. If a line is horizontal, it has a slope of 0. If the line is going uphill, the slope is positive. If it's going downhill, it's negative. And if it's a vertical line, it's undefined. Remember, the difference between a slope of 0 and an undefined slope is where the 0 falls in the slope. If the 0 is on top, slope is 0. If the 0 is on the bottom of your slope fraction, it's undefined because we cannot divide by 0. Okay, now here's point slope form. Pause the video and write this down. Point slope form is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Your y and your x are always going to be y and x. We're not going to put a number in for those. y1 and x1 come from the point that you're given, and m is the slope. Most of the time you're given the slope, sometimes you will have to find it. All right, writing an equation in point slope form. If I give you a slope of negative 1/3 and a point negative 1 comma negative 6, we can write an equation for the line with just these 2 things. We're going to plug it into the form that you need to write down at the beginning of every problem until you get the hang of this. So y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1 is the first thing you should write down. And then all we're going to do is we're going to go back up to the information we're given and fill in the form. Okay, y we bring down. Remember, we bring down that y and that x. They're always there. Now, you see here how it has minus, and I've changed it to addition. Okay, the reason I changed it to addition is because when you subtract a negative number, because that 6 is negative, remember a subtraction sign followed by a negative sign will change to addition of a positive number. So y plus 6 equals, we need to fill in for m. M's negative 1/3, so I just brought that down. Always bring down that x. And again, we had a negative number right here, so we're going to add 1. And guys, that's all you do. There's nothing else to it. You're just filling it in. All right, sometimes you'll have a graph. And you can look at the graph of the line. You can find the slope using rise over run, and then pick a point on the line. So let's look at this slope. It's up here. Slope is 5/2, but let's review how to find that. Remember, find 2 points on the line, which I've done here, and then just count how many spaces up or down, and then how many over. Remember that if your line's pointing downhill, that the slope is negative, and uphill it's positive. This line is pointing uphill, so my slope is positive. So I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then over 1, 2. So my slope is 5/2. And then we're going to use the point 2, 2. And we could use any point on this line. We could use 3, 4. We could use 0, negative 3. But let's just go with 2, 2 right here. All right, we're going to plug them into the point slope form. And remember, all you're doing is filling in the y1, m, and x1. Leave your y and your x. All right, so my y value, my y1 is 2. I got that up here from this point. So y minus 2 equals, I replaced m with 5/2 because that was my slope that I found using rise over run. I leave my x and then minus my x1, which was 2 from the point I found on my graph. Okay, if you have an equation in point-slope form, you can get that into slope-intercept form by using the distributive property and then combining like terms. So let's look here. This is the equation that we got on the previous slide. Y minus 2 equals 5 over 2 times x minus 2. First, we're going to use the distributive property. We're going to multiply 5 over 2 times x and then 5 over 2 times negative 2. And when we do that, we get y minus 2 equals 5 over 2x minus 5. Now I need to combine like terms. I can't combine anything with y. There's not another term with y. Same as the 5 over 2x. There's no other term with x. But I have a negative 2 here and then a negative 5 here. Remember, I can combine my constants. But since the negative 2 has to go across the equal sign, its sign is going to change. It's being subtracted here, but if I take it across, it's going to be added. So y equals 5 over 2x minus 5 plus 2. And then I can just combine negative 5 plus 2, and that's negative 3. So starting with an equation in point-slope form, I can get it into slope-intercept form. Y equals 5 over 2x minus 3. Okay, here you're given 2 points, and you're asked to write it in point-slope form. If this happens and you're not given the slope, the first thing you need to do is find the slope. All you do is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, same that we've been doing for several days. So I have negative 3 minus 1 over 6 minus 2. And I just got that from these 2 points right here. Remember to label them if you need to, x1, y1, x2, y2. And if I solve going across, that's negative 4 over 4, and then I'll simplify to negative 1. So my slope is negative 1, and I'm going to use m as negative 1 and the point 2, 1. So I'm going to use this first point here. And then I just fill it in. Y minus the y1, which is 1, equals, replace my slope where the m is, negative 1 times x minus, and then my x1 was 2. So here it is in point-slope form. Still really easy, guys. All right, here's 3 problems to do on your own. They are due at the start of the next class. Remember, this is how you get your participation points for watching the video. And like always, if you have any questions, write those down. Be sure to ask them, okay? Don't be embarrassed to ask any questions. I want you to ask questions. I don't expect you to be an expert after watching this one video, but I do expect you to be familiar with how to do it. It gives us a good starting point in class. So if you need to watch the video again, watch it again. If you need to pause it at any point, do that. If you didn't take any notes when you watched it this time, go back, watch the video again, and take notes. See you guys in class next time.